The evidence seems to indicate that you're watching Dolly Vision.
Topping up, Dolly Vision's dreaming real. True crime scene blast feel so unreal. YouTube madness like share, subscribe. Cats on fire, burning the world's fire. Where's the baby missing shadows crawl? People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, best around town known. Dolly Vision headlines, King of Beat. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shouting, echoes in the night. Rock the truth while live on air light. Topping up, Dolly Vision's dreaming real. True crime scene blast feel so unreal. YouTube madness like share, subscribe. Cats on fire, burning the world's fire. Where's the baby missing shadows crawl? People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, best around town known. Dolly Vision headlines, King of Beat. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shouting, echoes in the night. Rock the truth while live on air light.
What up, all my beautiful people of YouTube and all my members out there? Tonight, the chat is members only. So if you're watching out there in the ether and you're not a member yet, go ahead and click that join button. I don't know what you're waiting for, but we're going to leave the stream open for a little while. This is just a perk for my members. A lot of people, have become members and they say, Dolly, we really don't get any perks because your streams are just open to everybody. So tonight I made the chat members and we're going to go over the update on John John Boley. Okay, that's the young boy that I traveled down to Alabama that was found deceased. So sad, such a sad story. And then of course, I was down there droning. Now that's some exclusive video that I'm going to be sharing with members only tonight. So if you're not a member, you won't be able to see that tonight, but it will be open tomorrow night for the general public to watch. This is one of my perks for being a member. We told you there's going to be a lot of new things in 2026. So members, you guys get everything first. Guys out there in the ether, I still love all of you, even if you ain't a member. So you'll just have to wait a little longer to see it unless you become a member tonight. Now, with that said, go ahead and leave your DNA on the like button, your fingerprints, just in case you go missing. And Dolly got to track you down. If you're brand new out there watching, usually everything is open for everybody. So go ahead, join up, ring the bell for notifications, and of course, feel free to share my ugly face on any social media platform you choose. We got a very special guest in the studio with us tonight. I don't know if you know, this is Jameson Boley. Okay, Jameson Boley. This is the meth head that was watching his children that day that little John John went missing. Okay, now here's the thing. He's been charged with exposing these kids to a controlled substance, methamphetamines. Okay. Now we're going to get some news. I want to go over this video first before we get too far into this because they're performing an autopsy tomorrow on little John John Boley. Now, hopefully, I don't want to get into the speculation part of it. Let me give my warnings. Dolly Vision's for entertainment purposes only. We talk news, rumors, gossip, speculation, theories, mixed with a little bit of comedy and a whole lot of chaos. So don't take nothing here as fact, completely satire. Just my opinion, people. The callers tonight, if we take calls, there's opinions of theirs and theirs alone. Everyone is innocent to proven guilty in a court of law. Even this weird ass looking dude right here. Now I know who the guy was that came up and got all lippy with me. It was his family. It looked just like him. I mean, identical to him, right? So now I know why they were big mad and didn't want things seen, right? They wanted people to be quiet. They didn't want it on video. I get it now. I totally get it now. Okay. So it must have been his little brother. Okay. It must have been his little brother. Why you mad, little messed up people? Right? Them heels, them damn, you getting them backwoods. Let me tell you, them people are messed up out their damn minds, right? He looked just as bad as Fred Hill, right? He looked just as bad as Fred Hill does, right? Damn, you giving Fred Hill a run for his money, all right? A run for his money. So anyway, like I said, a lot of new information has came out how they found little John John. And I'm going to play this video for you guys real quick. Let me share the screen. And trigger warning for anybody that's tuning in that may be a little extra sensitive. This is a hard topic to take because it deals with the death of a beautiful little boy that had his whole life ahead of him. And you know, when you let your kids outside, you got to really pay attention. You really got to pay attention. But if you're under the influence and you just let your kids do whatever, you know, it's sad. It's a sad. This could have been avoided. This whole situation could have been avoided if this man right here was paying attention to his kids. Okay. And not under the influence of bad narcotics, right? So let's jump over. Let's bring this video up. And this is an update from the sheriff.
Update where we're at. We recovered Jonathan. I've requested the state and the FBI work in conjunction with my deputies to work the scene, process everything there. We finished that up yesterday. The FBI and state have gone back to their field offices today to kind of start working and processing through everything. Jonathan was recovered partially in a body of water.
Partially.
And like I said, it's still under investigation. There's still ongoing work going on by law enforcement being conducted. We won't know anything official until hopefully maybe tomorrow or later into next week, the cause of death. My deputy and an FBI agent supposed to go over to Huntsville in the morning to be present during the autopsy to hopefully give us more answers to what happened. Update where we're at. We recovered Jonathan. I've requested the state and the FBI work in conjunction with my deputies to work the scene, process everything there. We finished that up yesterday. The FBI and state have gone back to their field offices today to kind of start working and processing through everything. Jonathan was recovered partially in a body of water. And like I said, it's still under investigation. There's still ongoing work going on by law enforcement being conducted. We won't know anything official until hopefully maybe tomorrow or later into next week, the cause of death. My deputy and an FBI agent supposed to go over to Huntsville in the morning to be present during the autopsy to hopefully give us more answers to what happened.
Okay. So you heard it right there. You heard it right there. So the young boy was partially in the water. Okay. Partially submerged in the water. Now, by the way the sheriff makes it sound, it don't sound like he was laying head first in the water. because you would think instantly maybe drowning. And, we were thinking that he was exposed to the elements and that may have took him out and it may have been what caused this young man to lose his life. Now, we do know that the father was in there with chemicals and different things. It sounds like not only was he doing the Breaking Bad, but it sounds like he was making the Breaking Bad, and these kids were exposed to certain things. Now, this is just a hypothetical speculation right here. Is it possible that John John was exposed to something that he shouldn't have been, and that he was placed somewhere in these woods? But that still don't explain why the little brother said what he did. That the little boy ran off with the dog and Buck was there with him. But either way, this man is in a world of trouble, and we seen, of course, the family upset. And, the person they should be mad at is Jameson Boley right here. He was too busy doing shit he shouldn't have been doing, didn't paying close attention to his kids. And not only that, he didn't even call the police until almost 2 hours after this child was missing. Plus, they're finding things on the property they think are things that go boom in the night, and they have to call off the search. And then it takes even longer to find this child because they had to call off this search. Now, if they hadn't called off that search, would they have found little John John? And now when you see this area, which I got the exclusive video, you see me, for everybody that followed me that day when I was out there at the crime scene and I was droning over it. Tonight, for my members, and like you can see me now, but when we go to members only in just a few minutes, you will not be able to see this video until tomorrow night, okay? Which it'll be free for everybody. So if you ain't got, I think my membership is $1.99 or $2.99, less than a cup of coffee. If you ain't got it, I can understand it. Don't worry. Don't leave a bunch of hateful comments. Don't get mad. Don't hate Dolly. You will be able to see it absolutely free tomorrow. It'll be here for everybody. The father definitely looks rough. This is his mug shot from Walker County, okay? Which is basically where Jasper, Alabama is. Sweet Pea, thank you guys. Thank you for everybody that has been joining up. And it's just a sad situation, just totally sad situation, because we're just learning that he was partially submerged in water. So did he trip? Did he fall into the creek, the little lake that's back there? You're going to be able to see the area and what's around this property that he went missing. And when, I took a few looks at it today. And, usually when I'm out there flying my drone, I'm looking at a pretty small controller. It's about the size of this. And I ain't got the best eyesight. So when I was able to play it on the TV and blow it up and see it full size in HD, I noticed a lot of things that I didn't notice when I was out there actually recording the video. Okay. So the area is thick with woods, but believe it or not, there's behind it a little ways, they say 2 miles. There's houses. I think this area could have probably honestly been searched fairly well with a small amount of people fairly quick if they didn't have to stop. That's what's so bad about it. Because when I looked at the area, I was thinking, well, if they hadn't stopped and been worried about things going boom and had to call everybody out and the whole public got to completely search, I think they would have had about a better outcome. But now that's just my opinion. That don't mean anything would have changed. But believe it or not, this dude right here should be charged with criminal child neglect. He's inside under the influence, possibly shaking and baking, right? Thinking he's damn on the show Breaking Bad, and this kid wanders off. If that ain't the definition of felony criminal child neglect that carries 10 years, and I asked a lot of people, I said, listen, I don't really know what should happen to the father, but as more of this information is coming out and we're knowing now that this is the father, and look, if he got one crooked eye and shit, right? Like drugged out of his damn mind. A lot of people said, I think he should get 10 years. Now, I know for a fact that dude that came up was his family member. It looked just like him. It looked just like him. A little tiny bit shorter, maybe a little bit thinner, but looked just like him. And then when I seen it, because I hadn't seen the father, what he looked like to the day, and I looked at him, I said, that looks just like that little fucker that came up to me calling me names, right? I get it. I totally get the situation now, right? But sad as it is, prayers to his mother. Now, I don't know if the mother knew that this guy was under the influence when she dropped these kids off. And this is the bad thing about this, right? It was a court order put in place to where this man right here got the kids 5 days a year. 5 days a year, you a father, and you can't be a father for 5 damn days. That's it. Okay, the whole year. Right? Now listen, I'm a father every day of the year for the last 25 years. Okay. And I haven't failed one time yet. My kid has 10 fingers, 10 toes, still alive. This dude had 5 damn days to take care of his kid, and he couldn't manage that. What the hell? Right? I say definitely at this point, they're holding them on, exposing the kids to a chemical substance, which is a controlled substance, which is methamphetamines. I mean, you might get a little bit of time for that, but I definitely at this point believe that if this man is not charged with criminal child neglect, felony criminal child neglect, there ain't no justice in this world. That little boy deserved better than to be out in the wilderness by his damn self, where it took his daddy that much time to try to get help. It's just sad. Damn Buck was better with the child than his own father. I know that's harsh to say, but this is the reality of things. You have to keep your eyes on your kids. Now, that your kid might get out your sight for a second, maybe a minute. That's good. But when you just not paying attention and you're in there chasing a damn dragon or whatever you doing, and now your kid's gone and you in no rush to call the authorities, and then we hear the news that the kid's found half submerged in water. That is terrible. And the dog, sitting there right beside him, stayed with him. And you know what? The dog, they probably sent it because a lot of people out here are crazy as hell, and they started calling the animal shelter, like worried about Buck. Crazy. I mean, some people on the internet are just effing nuts. I mean, just nuts. So the animal shelter had to put out a post that the damn dog wasn't in the shelter because so many people were blowing up the shelter, wanting to think, talking about the mom should get the dog. It ain't her dog. That dog belongs to that family, these meth heads. Okay? Poor dog. What is Buck exposed to? If the kids were exposed to this, they're only there for 5 days. Imagine what poor Buck is breathing in. And dogs got 50 times better noses than human beings. Poor Buck. Buck was probably like over the shit. He was ready to that's why he didn't even go back to the house. That's just hypothetical, Godot. I don't really know that, but it's a shame. And like I said, I believe this man, he should get 10 years alone. Because I was unsure at first. I didn't want to, it wasn't time to point the fingers at anybody. The most important thing was to find this child. Okay. And then once you find a child, you try to figure out why this happened, right? Why it happened. How did this happen? Right. And now we pretty much know how it happened. This is how it happened right here. Look at this dude's face. That's how it happened. I mean, the picture explains everything you need to know. Okay. That if that don't explain to you why this kid is ended up the way he did, I don't know what to tell you. Okay. I don't know what to tell you. If that shit right there don't say it all, I don't know what will. Tony says, I'll take Buck. And I mean, a lot of people would love to have the dog, right? But, of course, that dog went right back to that family because it belongs to them. And apparently, that everybody, around them knows what's going on, So they didn't want things on video, apparently. That wasn't kosher for them. And, but now, we need justice for this child. Somebody's got to be held responsible for what went down. Now we can't say anything bad about the mother. The mother was court ordered to hand over them to children. Would I drop my kid off there? I don't know. If I walked in and I seen my ex looking like this, I would say, hey, that judge is going to have to put me in jail. I'm not leaving my kids with this shit. I just wouldn't have. That's just me, though. But the mother I guess she didn't have any other options. And I'm surprised the dude even wanted the kids there. This messed up. Okay. I'm kind of surprised. But in 3 days, he couldn't watch the kids. He made it 3 days. 3 days with the kids. 5 times a year, right? 5 days. That's 5 days. He made it 3 days with the kid, but for one kid, thank God that we ain't missing both kids. Thank God. Thank God that we ain't missing both those little boys. And pretty little boys, and I got to see his brother, and when they came out the woods, I honestly I was so happy that I was thinking this kid is alive. This story is going to end well. And we don't usually get that in true crime, guys. We know it's doom and gloom. Everything ends like terribly, right? We just know that. But I was just trying to be hopeful. And when I seen the kid, I was like, he's not wearing the same thing, but his brother is almost like his identical twin. Okay. They're not the same age. They're not twins, but they look just alike. Just alike. Easily to mistake that child for the other child. So I was just so hopeful that we were going to get the good news. And then, of course, when we got the news that he was found deceased, it was heart crushing. Okay. Just one of those, emotions fly high, especially when we have missing kids and stuff like that. And I wasn't even prepared to get that news like that. So I can imagine how hard it was on the mother. Okay. Now, as far as his side of the family, yeah, F you people. Okay. F you people. And his little brother or cousin or one of his relatives came up. I know it was his relative because it looked just exactly like him. Same raggedy ass beard, looked like he was on meth, right? So I know it was somebody kin to him. F those people, because you failed this child. You failed the child. I mean, it's terrible as it is, but it is God's honest truth. Man, I don't even know what to say about it. It is that bad. And, this area where they lived it's not the nicest. I mean, it's beautiful. It's country, but it's not the nicest area. Like it ain't like really nice homes. A lot of ran down, a lot of ran down stuff right through there, right? Nice properties, right? It's kind of like a Don Wells situation. You know how you go up the hill, it's just a big old shit pile, but the land looks beautiful. You like two mountains, and I mean it's nice wooded country area. It just looked like a more of a lower income kind of area, right? You know, and a lot of country areas are like that because there ain't a whole lot of jobs in Jasper, Alabama. But I mean, you're really only 45 minutes, 50 minutes from Birmingham, which you could probably, which is pretty ran down too. I don't know how many of y'all been to Birmingham, Alabama. That ain't quite the nicest place in the world. First time I ever been there, I was a little like, yeah, this really ain't for me. Okay. Um, but I mean, there's more opportunity about 45 minutes away, but that's what I'm saying. It's a little bit more of on the lower income side of things. And, but really, like I said, beautiful. It's a beautiful area. It just, like I said, probably not a lot of opportunities. If you don't work at the damn seed and feed store, you probably don't really got a job. We are thankful for every thing you do, Dolly and PJ, Paula and Piggy. Thank you guys. You know, thank you. Some people like to give me a hard time. You know, these bullshit ass channels out here, but I don't pay those channels no mind. They don't stop Dolly from doing what we do or bringing the content we do. It's just, you know, they hate life, and miserable people like to try to make other people miserable. But that shit don't phase me. I don't pay it any mind, because when I lay down at night, my pillow's still soft, and I know what I do from the heart. And I always speak my mind, and I always tell you guys what I believe to be absolutely the truth. You know, it takes a lot to for a story to end up like this. And if this man probably hadn't have been under an influence, he may have been taking care of his kid properly and keeping an eye on the children. So to me, at this point, this man should do easily, if he don't serve 10 years in prison, there's no justice. And he should never, ever be allowed to keep any children unsupervised. Now, whatever judge put that order in place failed that mother. Okay? Failed that mother. That mother had a protective order on this man that said she was scared for her life, that he had put her, strangled her, had pinned her down, held her down. She was scared for her safety and the safety of her kids. That she was scared he was going to kill her or one of the kids. Now we got one of these kids halfway submerged in the water. 3 days into a visitation. I was that mother, I would go to that judge and cuss him the hell out. Right? Or I'd take a lawsuit on that judge. This judge sent them kids to stay with this man while he was in there under the influence of methamphetamines. Now, I believe that this should have been a case where there should have been some home studying or something, you know, or the mother, you know, she couldn't look at this man and see that she was leaving her kids with somebody with some drugs. And I know it's hard for the mother. I'm just saying that it's like you can see it. I mean, you can see it. And this is after he's been in jail a couple days. Okay? He still looks like he's high as all get up out of here. Okay? So let me share this with you guys. Let me close this. I got some other stuff I want to share with you before we go to members. All right. And then, of course, what you guys that are watching now, you will be able to see tomorrow night. Okay. I got to have perks for my members. So don't get angry. Be like, Dolly don't love us. He's such a bad person. No, this is a perk for being a member. You get the content, exclusive content, a day early. Okay. And then everybody else, the rest of the year, will get it one day later. There's a lot of creators that do it this way. And I told you there's a lot of changes coming in 2026. You can already see by the studio. Matter of fact, my studio furniture came in today. And I'm going to be tomorrow. I start the framing. Well, the foundation, I got to put the blocks down for the studio that I'm building on my property. So I will officially be moving studios. I started working on this one and I was like, you know what? This just ain't enough room. I need something bigger, something better, something awesome. So now Dolly's taking his building skills and I've already got the permits and I'm going to start building my new studio. All right. So we got a lot of new things coming, a lot of awesome things coming. It is only getting better from here. Okay. Sky's the limit. We're taking off like a rocket ship. Now we ain't going to get quite as high as he did. Okay. Because this dude, he's on Space Mountain. Okay. Like Ric Flair would say, this dude is, he definitely ain't styling and profiling, but he's definitely on Space Mountain. Okay. He's this is the first dude to colonize Mars right here. He's so high. But yeah, so for all you guys out there watching, just remember you'll be able to see it tomorrow. Don't get upset. Don't get mad. Don't send me messages and DMs. I hate you, Dolly. Right? I'm on a fixed income. You're going to be able to see it tomorrow. Okay. I'm just trying to let y'all know now so you don't send me a bunch of messages and you don't get mad and you don't be upset, that you will be able to see what we're going to show here in just a few minutes. Okay. So I'm going to switch it up to members. So you guys, tomorrow night, you will be able to see the second half of this, that, you know, and for the update, I left it open for everybody so everybody could see it, because I think y'all needed to notice that this man thought he was Breaking Bad. You needed to know that this child was submerged in water. You needed to know that they're going to be doing an autopsy in the morning. And of course, you know, once we hear the update on how this autopsy went, if there's something that in this kid's system that shouldn't be in this kid's system, we're going to let you know. And now, if there's something in there that shouldn't be there, there's only one way it could have got there. All right. Now, a lot of people, and this is for all my Canadian viewers out there, this is kind of like the Jack and Lily situation. But in this situation, only one kid went missing. In the Jack and Lily situation, 2 kids went missing. But we also know that allegedly that Daniel Martell, the father of Jack and Will's mama boyfriend, not the father. He's the father of Meadow, right? Jenny, thank you for being a member. That Hoot Mama, thank you for being a member. Malaya blamed Daniel for being on the Breaking Bad, is what we call it. He's all messed up from the time that Meadow was born. Okay. So a lot of people believe that Jack and Lily may have got into something that they wasn't supposed to get into. And they're alleging that Daniel was seen 1:30 that night driving around in his vehicle. But his story, he don't tell that. So he's been telling inconsistent stories the whole time anyway. Is this a situation where kids got into something they wasn't supposed to? And then there's been these types of cover-ups. Now, I'm going to give you my honest opinion. I don't think that's the case in this story right here with Jamison Boley. I don't. I think that the autopsy is going to come back good. You know, that there was no drugs or anything in the child's system. Now, if there's some drugs in the child's system, this dude's going to be charged with murder. That's what they're waiting on right now. That's why the autopsy is so important tomorrow, because if there comes back something, and, you know, because he's in jail right now for exposing these kids to a controlled substance. And we know what the controlled substance is. It's in the paperwork. So, and this ain't something that's not documented in court records and filings. It's there. It's in the paperwork. So Oh, I wanted to show y'all guys this too. That wasn't it. I could have swore I saved it. Oh, right here. This is his arrest stuff right here. Let me let me shrink this. Let me get back over here. Give me 1 second. I'm a little confused. All right, so let's share this right here. Bam, here it is. Let's take him off the screen real fast. Let's get rid of him so y'all can so we can blow this up. His booking number 212144, just in case you want to send him some canteen. All right, while he's in there. Age 40, male, white. Address just says Jasper, Alabama. Date of booking 1/02/2026 at 3:13 p.m. And he's on hold for another agency. The charges and bail amount may change after court appearance and may not be current. Bond companies and persons wishing to post bail should contact the detention center staff. Okay, now I don't know what his bail is. Okay. Now, when we go to members, maybe I will pick up the phone and call and see what his bail is. Now, at some point, his bail was $2,400, but then he was charged with the exposing the kids to the Breaking Bad, and they may have upped his bail or even dropped his bail. I'm not quite sure. So when we jump over to a member stream, we're going to watch the exclusive footage that I took while I was out there. Thank you, Dolly, for all you do for the missing. Much respect. Peace, love, and pugs. It is good to see you. Thank you for being here. You know, we've been on this journey fighting for kids for going on almost 5 years now. So for all you guys that been through the thick and thin with me and on these journeys all over the country, from from Georgia to Alabama to Tennessee to California to Fruitland, Idaho, just to Virginia Beach and to Buckrow Beach, and we've been so many places, Northern Virginia. Thank you for gifting that membership. If you got a membership from somebody, make sure you give them a big virtual hug and thank them. All right, because they're bringing you in tonight, and so you guys have stuck with me all over the country. For people that have donated to the Give, Send, Go, which makes this type of stuff possible. For was there anybody that gave y'all the type of coverage that Dolly gave y'all? Right? You got to remember, I had to fly 1,000 miles. We were right there at where it happened. You got to see it pretty much unfold all day live. I think we brought better coverage than any news channel that you could have tuned into. More better news coverage than the local news down there, and you got it here on Dolly Vision. It's being there. And I think that's really what everybody, they want to see everything unfold live as it happens. That's why the videos did so much better than their local news channels there in Alabama. The videos that we put out, we did 2 videos over 100,000 plays. So for everybody that tuned into that, thank you. And it's about spreading awareness for what's going on in the situation. Okay. Now we knew that the child wasn't kidnapped. We pretty much knew he was in those woods somewhere, and it was just the urgency of finding him. And I think a lot of people that were watching were just as hopeful as me, right? Everybody wanted this boy found alive. And and when the guy got mad, I was like, are you mad at me for hoping the kid is alive? Right? What do you want me out here saying he's dead? My opinion was, I think this kid's alive. It ain't been that cold. I was just hopeful, right? And then you got people that but I think at that point, the dad's family knew for a fact that they had found John John. Okay. I think he knew. And, being upset. And of course, when you under the influence of these hard, you get angry really easy. You're short tempered, you're irritable, and the dude that came up didn't look much different than the fellow we see right here. Okay. That's how I know it was his family. I didn't know at the time who it was, but when I seen this picture today, I was like, oh yeah, that's his family. That's his family. No wonder they're mad, right? No wonder they're mad. But this dude, hopefully, he does the next 10 years in prison. If there is I don't have a whole lot of faith in our justice system. I do know this. Alabama is one of them F around and find out states. Alabama will execute you. They will put you ass in the gas chamber. Not that they will do that to him. Now, if this kid has something in his system and they think he was something purposely happened to him, which I don't think is the case. Honestly, I don't. But if it does turn out to be something like that, oh, this dude is done. You do not play in Alabama. Their court systems are tough. I mean, it's like they right here with Virginia, Alabama. They just recently gave a dude the damn nitrous gas chamber. I was like, I thought that shit was cruel and unusual punishment, but not in Alabama. That's how they treat you. Thank you, peace, love, and pugs. So if he did do something that led to this kid's death, oh, he's going to pay horribly. And I still think he will be charged with more charges after this. Once this autopsy comes out tomorrow, I do believe they're going to charge him with some type of child neglect because, he should have been there with the kids. And if you look up what child neglect is, it's just not watching your kids. Simple as that. You don't watch your kids, and that's child neglect. And he's definitely guilty of that. Okay? So we're going to get into a little bit of what this area looked like from the crime scene. So if you ain't a member and you want to see this, go ahead and join up. If you can't afford it, not a big deal, guys. Don't get upset. I got to do stuff for my members. You will be able to see it tomorrow, absolutely free. It won't cost you anything. Okay. So if you just want to wait and see it free, you don't have to join the channel. If you want to see it tonight, become a member. We have it posted at the top, and you're more than welcome to see it tonight. But remember, it's going to be available for everybody, absolutely free. And it's definitely a different look than we've seen before. Okay, with that said, we're jumping over to members only. You guys catch the replay tomorrow. For my members, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a member. And this is the perk when we do things live. All footage first will come to you guys one day before I air it to the public in 2026. So if you want to see things first, join up. If you find waiting a day, no big deal. It's all the same. Okay. So give me 1 second. Let me get this on the members. And guys, see if you ain't a member, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay. And it's open to all channel members. So even if you join the lowest tier, done. Boom. There we go. Now it should be on members only. Okay. And give me a second. Let me get this drone footage pulled up for you guys so you can take a look at the whole entire area of where he went missing from. And when we was out there, we knew we were in the right spot, right? I just knew that was the spot. Everything was focused here, and that the way they were bringing the dogs in and out, they were running the dogs for about, I don't know, like maybe 30 minutes at a time. And then they would take the dogs back and, get a new dog and bring those dogs, a new dog out, and they would rotate it. And they had everything from shepherds to collies to they had all kind of search dogs out there. And and I was real hopeful, like, because I was like, well, it may be hard to track a small child, but it ain't going to be that hard to track a dog. Okay, because a dog will usually sniff out another dog quickly. Um, Angela, thank you for becoming a member. It should, let me make sure it's on members, and we'll kick into this video. Let me add it to the screen. Bam. Let me get him off the screen. Now I had to go through so much trouble to get this off my drone today. And honestly, I thought I had lost it. Right. I looked on the SD card, didn't have it. I had 5 years of searches. I mean, everything from Jake Federlin to Avra Hooks to Sebastian Rogers to Summer Wells. Everything was on this memory card but this. So basically, what it had done was on my drone, it recorded it to the internal memory. And I didn't know how to get it off the drone. So I had to go through a bunch of stuff and hook it to my iPhone, download it from a drone to my iPhone, from my iPhone to my computer. So I'd literally worked my damn ass off to get this video off that drone, which is absolutely crazy. All right. Let me make sure that everything is set here. Oh, I didn't save it. So hold on. Let me hit save. Now we should be on members only. Okay, I got it now.
Let me make sure. It's so funny that right when you were getting ready to go.
Hold on, guys. All right. I'm back with you. I just want to make sure that we set it up for members. All right. And let's jump into this. So this is the aerial view right here. If you notice, there's this little road down here at the bottom. And if y'all remember when I was out there, it says there's 3 people in the room. I know there's more than 3 people in the room. There's more than 3 people in the chat, but it okay. So anyway, this is the road that the police kept turning into. All right. This is the aerial footage. This is just an aerial view of that road. 474 watts. I'm pretty sure it's on members only. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, I got you. Okay, I just want to make sure because we don't do very many members only. So that road right here that you see at the bottom where my cursor's moving around on the screen, I don't know if y'all can see that. That's where I was standing at the foot of this road. This is where the sheriff and everybody kept coming in, and we seen that crime tape, right? Now, when you watch this video, you're going to see what they have taped off completely. So when we're at the road, we can only see a little tiny bit of the tape. We couldn't really see that they're taped up all this whole side here and all the way around the back. Okay. Now let's jump into it. You see the police walking down the road, and now I'm going up a little higher to get a better aerial view. Of course, I fly over there, and you see the crime tape, right? Can y'all see that? It's kind of hard to see. I may have to save some stills and blow it up. See me zooming in on the crime tape? See how the crime tape runs all the way back to that shed into here.
Did you watch this already?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. So this is just me backing up. And in a minute, I'll go a little farther deeper into it, and you'll see that there's a little pond over to the left. See, there's the sheriff's truck. Okay. That's the actual sheriff. Remember, I was standing at the foot of that driveway. Now you see how far back these woods go. Okay, remember, there's the cart, there's the sheriff's truck, there's the cops walking down to the vehicles. Now we go up.
Oh, look how wooded that is.
It is. It's thick. Look how far it goes back. See, there's houses over here to the left. All right. It's thick woods. I was kind of surprised how thick it was too. Now, of course, the helicopter was circling all this the whole time. They were circling right in this area. And over here, there's like a creek that runs through there. You see, I'm starting to zoom in. I told you that drone I got ain't no joke, boy. It'll zoom right in on you. There's like a little kid swimming pool there. You see the little road that goes back there. There's the adjacent house next door. There's the lake. See it? Now, I'm believing that it's somewhere he was found in that water. Okay? Just a quick shot of it. The dog stayed with him the whole time. It's just, they called off the search. And they were focused so much on this area here because for anybody that followed my live, you would see that the searchers are in these woods right here. They're walking hand in hand towards that lake, that little body of water. And then, of course, after they get down there, they call off the search. So to me, that tells me they found this kid to the left of this property. He went this way to the left. And I could pull up my other videos of where they're walking. Well, no, I cut the end of it out being respectful to the family because I showed the brother. So a lot of people got mad and thought, let me pause this for a second. They thought that I had put the video behind a paywall trying to make money. I didn't. I didn't want clip channels to show the video. So what I did, but they stole it anyway. If you notice, there's 50 channels that use that video. They were downloading it while it was going because they probably knew that, hey, I'm going to take this video down or edit the video or something like that. So they were already clipping the video. So I went in, I put it on members, and I set it to the highest tier because I was like, if these clip channels are going to play my fucking video, they're going to pay for it. Okay, they're going to pay if they're going to try to play it, and then they're going to be lucky if I don't copyright strike them. So, and when I was on my computer, my laptop, it wouldn't let me edit the video. I couldn't edit the video technically until I got back to the studio. So as soon as I got back to the studio, I edited out the part of them bringing the kid out the woods because I didn't want to show the child. And I also edited out the part of the dead dog out of the first video. If y'all remember in the first video, I was walking and there was a dead dog. I didn't even mean to show it. A lot of people thought it was a bear, but it wasn't. It was like a husky, like half rotten with his rib cage hanging out. It was gross. And I didn't know if that violated YouTube's terms of service. So I edited that out. So you won't see that if you go back and watch the replay. If anybody that sees the videos, you'll notice now that they're different. They've been edited because it's hard that when you're live to not show something. So I didn't want to break any YouTube rules. So I edited out the dead dog. I also, were being respectful, edited out the kid because I don't want to show a kid that ain't the kid. Okay. That's the brother. So I edited that out. But a lot of these people were saying, well, he put it behind a paywall because he wanted to make money. No, I knew nobody was going to pay I think it's $130 or some shit like that. I knew nobody was going to pay that. Right. So I just put it on that. And people cried and cried and cried. Oh, he's putting it behind a paywall. No, the videos are absolutely free. You can go watch them now. You don't even have to be a member to watch them. They're absolutely free for everybody. It's just I wanted to take out the parts that were bad. You know, we don't want to show, you know, kids if it ain't the kid that's missing. We don't want to show dead animals. We don't want to show that stuff. But sometimes when it's live, you're getting what we see live. When you go back and watch the video, it might, you know, we may cut some of those things out. But let's take one more look at, you know, the area of where they found this young man. And if you want, I don't know if it's in the videos because I may have cut it out where they were walking arm in arm through these woods. Now look, right here where this police truck is. Okay. Can y'all see it on the screen? Let me take this comment down. You might not be able to see it because it's right at the bottom. Okay, look right beside my picture. You'll see a little blue truck. That's the sheriff's truck. They're walking towards it. Right beside this truck, the searchers were lined up and they were walking to the left of that truck. Okay, just walking, searching. And I could see how far the searchers were down before they stopped and turned around and everybody left. Okay. So that is where that body of water was at. Let's back it up. So you get a good full look at everything. Now it makes me happy. The dog may have been hit by a car. That is a pretty busy road. Okay. And you can see the guy in the little search vehicle right here. You can see him walking down the driveway. Rest in heaven, John John. Absolutely. Rest in heaven. So, like I said, he was down here to the left, all the way through these woods on the other side of where that pond was. That is red clay. That is just clay. And here's the thing about this, guys. You got to remember when he may have fell and got stuck. I don't know if any of y'all, like, I'm from Georgia. I played in the red clay as a kid, like tons, right? And it gets a little, when it gets wet, it gets really sticky. Like when you step in it, it'll almost be like a suction cup around your foot. So anybody from the deep south in here would know you can get stuck in that red clay. Red clay is like quicksand almost if it gets wet. Yes, right? Because I used to play in the creeks and the ditches in Columbus, Georgia, which Columbus, Georgia sits right on the border of Phoenix City, Alabama. Okay. I lived that's where I grew up, right on the border of Alabama and Georgia, the Georgia Alabama line. And that red clay is no joke. So, say you get near the water and you step down near the water, you'll get stuck in it, right? It'll like suction to you. You'll sink into it and then you won't be able to get out. And then of course you may fall over. That's why I believe they say he went to the water, right? He went to the water and you can see out of all that, he was halfway submerged in water. And this is the area. Hold on, let me pause it. That they were searching. Okay. He had then went into these woods and got back out in here somewhere near this water because this water runs back farther. And maybe he stepped onto the bank of it and that bank was loose and wet and it suctioned him in and he fell over. So maybe his back half of him was on the shore and the front half of him was in the water. Or it could be the other way around. He was stepped in the water on the bank and was halfway out. We don't know. We just know he was halfway in the water. And this is the area they were searching. This is the area that the helicopter labs love water. And listen, everybody is like, Buck is a hero, yay, Buck, right? But here's the thing about this, guys. What if he was chasing Buck? Right? I don't want to, rip the cape off a super dog or nothing. People, it's better. I like the story better that the dog's a hero. It sounds great. But what if the kid was chasing the dog? And that's why he ran off. He was running after Buck. Or is it that Buck followed him? To me, it could be either one, but we can't change what has happened. We just can't do that, right? It's just no way to change what happened out there. But we got to hold somebody responsible. We have to hold somebody responsible for what happened. And that falls on Jameson, the father. And like I said, I don't think this man should ever, even if he does 10 years, when he gets out, his son would be, 16? He shouldn't be able to be alone with his 16-year-old kid. All right? That's just how I feel. That's just how I feel about it. Because, maybe supervised. Okay, you can be there with your child. The bad thing is now, most likely he's going to be in prison. You know what? I didn't even realize that this was streaming on. Okay, hey Facebook user, let me give me a second, guys. Let me end this on Facebook. Take it down. Give me 1 second. I didn't even realize I was streaming it to Facebook. Not the right Facebook. All right, let's see. Edit post. No. Let's go. Movie trash. Okay, that should take care of that. Like I said, I gotta have perks for the members, for everybody that has spent their hard-earned money joining up, supporting the channel. Yeah, it ended though. It ended and it's not there. So you can see it tomorrow like everybody else that has to wait. You know what I'm saying? It's not a member. So and of course, like when we go into these cases and some of the stuff, everybody, of course, is going to get the lives. But when we videotape stuff, you guys as members will get it one day before everybody else. And this is on everything moving forward on Dolly Vision. It ain't just a one-time thing. It's on everything because there's a lot of cases we're going to be covering. And we already know there's going to be a bunch of places we're going to. We will be, I think in March, we will be in Fruitland, Idaho for the Michael Monkey Vaughn situation. So you guys will get some exclusive content there. So I'm going to try to bring you more exclusive stuff for my members, right? Because I haven't really been doing much for the members, and it's kind of like I kind of owe you guys, right, that have been dealing with it, and it slows the chat down, and people can actually communicate without the chat flying. There's no trolls because people, of course, are not going to pay to troll, unless they're really hard up. I have seen people pay to troll, but me, I laugh about it because you paid to troll, but usually it gets rid of a lot of the bad elements and the people causing drama and arguing and things like that. So let's go over it. We'll just take one more look. And then if you want, we can take some calls and discuss what you think should happen to Mr. Jameson Boley. I should have put some music to it. Let me see if I got some music. Not that. That sucks. The eye in the sky. Now I do want to say this. Hold on, I'm gonna pause this. I didn't fly far as I possibly could have, right? And you may be like, Dolly, why didn't you go farther into the woods? Because when there's a helicopter or a flight pattern that's been made, it's a no-fly zone for a drone. Okay, so every time I'd send the drone up, it kept giving me warnings. But by the time I sent this drone up, I think the helicopter had just left. But it kept telling me, warning, warning, there's a plane at the same altitude. So that helicopter was flying low. And I think my drone was up actually higher, a little bit higher than the helicopter was flying. The helicopter wasn't flying very high above the tree. I mean, it was low. It was pretty low. And I was pretty high. You can see how high above these trees I actually am, right? So my drone kept giving me warnings. So I didn't know exactly where the helicopter was, so I didn't want to fly too far out and crash this damn drone into somebody's helicopter and then, cause a damn helicopter crash. So I had to be real, careful where I flew this drone. So a lot of it was I was flying it in sight. So I tried not to let the drone get out of sight just in case I seen the damn helicopter coming. I could try to, put the drone flies in 3 speeds. It has like a cinematic speed, it has like a sports speed, and it has like your standard speed, right? So if you need to get out of somewhere kind of quick, you need to throw it in sport and kind of haul ass back to you. So I really tried to keep the drone high up in the air so I could see it, and that was important because I didn't want, a helicopter to swing by and take out the drone or it to cause any problems. And because that's the last thing you want, because then they'll probably put my ass in jail for, flying in a no-fly zone. Because once that helicopter's in that area circling a crime scene, it lets you know on the controller that you ain't supposed to be flying that drone. Misunderstood. Thank you for your super chat. And I missed a few of them. Nina Drew, thank you so much. And that's Nina Drew too. Damn, Nina. Nina hit the lottery and never told anybody. Okay. But yeah, you definitely don't want to get stuck in that Georgia clay. It's pretty horrible. And the update we got was just heartbreaking today. It's like, it was pretty bad when we knew he was deceased. But then you get that update that now you can see that the only real body of water that is around there and where the searchers were at, of course, was to the left of this. Now, this don't make it look very far because we're so high up, but believe it or not, that's a pretty good distance from here to where that water is. Now, y'all see the capability of my drone is now if I had this in a different format, I could blow it up even bigger, like closer. So usually when I'm searching, I fly like fields. I fly it real low to the ground and I can pretty much see everything. So it don't look that far in the air, but believe it or not, that's a pretty good ways away from where they were at. Your drone is fantastic. I like the zoom feature on it. You know, it's clear. Like people, when I tell people, I search with the drone over fields. Usually, what I'll do is I'll go to a field and I'll look on the map of on the drone. I don't do it. No, my controller's in another room where I'd show y'all, and I can program where I want the drone to fly. Like if I want it to fly in a grid pattern, I can set the grid pattern, and then I just hit fly, and the drone will fly itself. And what I do is I aim the camera straight down and I fly the drone really slow. So as it's flying, I'm sitting there looking right at the ground for little, bones or anything that may be. This is how I do it in the Summer Wells case. I do it a lot in Summer Wells because there's a lot of fields. There's trees, right? And I usually will fly over those, but there's a lot of fields. So to search those fields, I fly really low to the ground. Maybe a lot of times there's grass, so I'll fly it maybe 3 foot off the ground, pretty low, like this high. And I'll just have the camera aim down. And as I'm flying, if I see anything, my camera has a button on the back that'll take the camera and it'll zoom in. Like y'all see me zooming in on the kids' pool and the other stuff that was there. And I can really see what's on the ground pretty good. So I've probably covered in the Summer Wells case, I would say myself 30 acres of fields. I probably searched a good maybe 25 to 30 acres of fields alone. Just in case, in the summertime there's tall grass, but in the wintertime, a lot of that grass dies. So usually when I go out droning in Tennessee and stuff, it's usually in the wintertime. And I do have a lot of stuff that hasn't been seen from the Sebastian Rogers case that I may show you guys tomorrow. Okay. Some more exclusive videos that when I was pulling the memory card that I found. I got some stuff from the Lizzie Borden house of me droning around the house. I got stuff from all just the cases that I've covered for like the last few years. Like I usually don't show you guys the drone footage. I usually just do that as a search technique. When I'm searching, I use it. I fly out, look around, and then if I don't see nothing, then I don't worry about that area too much. But if I see something, then I'll walk out into the woods to see what it is if I can't get a good view of it, especially in the trees, right? Like that's how I find like homeless encampments when I'm searching and stuff like that. I'll fly out, and if I see something that looks strange, then I will walk out to that location. Matter of fact, that's how I found that homeless encampment when I was searching for little Sebastian Rogers. Is that's basically I flew over and I seen something I couldn't quite make out underneath the trees, and I was like, okay, well, let's walk out there. And then, of course, I walk out there, and then it looks like somebody had been staying there. Now, I'm not for sure who it was, but of course, I did call that in to the TBI. But, of course, that never led to much, and there's going to be a time where we have to go back down and we need to put a search together for little Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, right? Now, that little boy, I believe, has met the same fate as John John. Honestly, I do. I believe he got somewhere set down and possibly fell victim to the cold. Believe it or not, when you ain't got shoes or a jacket on and you get a little cold, you think you're all right at first. And even you'll start to feel warm, but hypothermia is setting in. And I believe that Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is not with us anymore. And I believe it's the same situation. He possibly took off. And if he did, there's two possibilities. He took off and he's in a ditch somewhere. He's covered with some weeds, and it could be on the side of a road. You know, he was walking, probably sat down somewhere trying to get warm. And next thing you know, like you would be surprised that there can be a body 3 feet in the brush next to you, and you never know what's there. Okay, never know what's there. You can walk past it. And I'll give you a prime example of this. Somebody shot my neighbor, right? When I lived in the hood. I don't live there no more. But when I did live there, somebody shot the neighbor, and he was laid in the bushes next to my house. I got out, walked right past him, didn't see him. He was shot laying in the bushes, probably moaning and shit. I didn't even hear him, right? Walked right by him, you know, because he was in the bushes. I couldn't see him. I go into the house. My baby mama is watching Cops on TV. And the weird thing was, I shared this with you, is I pull up and there's somebody in my parking spot. We parked on the street. I didn't have a driveway. But everybody had their own spot that they parked in every day, right? But when I pulled up, there was some dude sitting in my spot, and he was in the car. So I pull up behind him and I flick the lights and throw my hands up like, "Hey man, you in my spot?" And he pulls off. So I pull my car up, pull into my spot, get out, walk past the bushes. That dude had just shot the neighbor. Okay, he had just shot the neighbor. And he was sitting in his car. Right, so I walk in the house and like my baby mama sitting there watching Cops, and I was like, "Hey, there's some dude that was parked in my spot." She's like, "You know, I just heard like 4 gunshots," and I was like, "You heard 4 gunshots?" She's like, "Yes," and she said it sounded like it came from right outside the house, and she's like, "Do you hear that? The ambulance?" She's like, "I can hear him," and I was like, "That's the TV." Right? I go to turn down the TV. Now I hear the sirens coming. Right? Sure enough, they come right up to our house, and he's in the bush. So I guess he pulled out his cell phone and called like while he was laid behind the. He got shot in I think the leg and in the butt. Okay, he lived. That's the second time he got shot. The second time, and yeah, I had to move up out of there. Right, but of course, like I said, he was in the bushes. I walked right past him, shot. Didn't even know. Lucky I didn't get shot. You know, when I threw my hands up, the dude like, "Get out my parking spot." He yeah. So I just think it's one of those things where people can easily be overlooked, you know, especially in heavy brush or weeds or bushes or any of that, right? So I think it's time to put a search party together. I know there's going to be a lot of people February 26th in Hendersonville, Tennessee to uh, protest the sheriff's office because they want, you know, them to do better in the Sebastian Rogers case. I think people should use this opportunity to also search, right? Because I've been thinking about going down there myself February 26th when everybody's going to be protesting the sheriff. Let's see if we can get a search party together and let's search 5 miles around that area. I think this boy has walked and he's not far from the edge of the woods or in a ditch down there somewhere. It may have just been covered up with weeds. But in the wintertime, you know, there's less foliage, there's less greenery, a lot of the weeds die. And I just think we can't give up the search for little Sebastian Rogers. Now, definitely throw out prayers for John John's mother. And shame on the judge that gave this meth head visitation rights to them children. It's horrible, right? Like there, I just don't know what to say about it. You know, we see this guy and I think the picture just tells the whole story. There was buzzards on that house. Yes, remember that. For everybody that follows me live, I was down there and there was like 100 buzzards, but there was a dead deer. Remember, I walked up on that dead deer in the ditch, but it was weird because they were on the other side of the street. Them buzzards were. They wasn't even messing with the deer. That's what I'm saying. And them weeds were so high. It. I don't think Sebastian Rogers, if he walked out that house, that he got. Dolly, I'm excited about the new studio drip. Oh, the studio. This is the old studio now. This is all about to be disassembled. And as soon as I'm done framing up and putting the roof and watertight and everything, and I'm doing the footings tomorrow. So we'll have a new studio soon. It's gonna be bigger. We got me and PJ got 2 matching chairs, a nice little table. I'm ordering a new sign, for this little tiny sign. You know, if me and PJ can come to agreement on what it should be, I got my concept, she kind of got her concept. So we got to meet somewhere in the middle there. But we got, this chair's gone finally. That is terrible on my back. So we have a whole nice little, it's going to look nice with multiple camera. So you'll be able to see close up shots. Like, when she's talking, it'll be close up on her. Then when I'm talking, it'll be like close up on me. And then, a back view where you can see the whole studio set up. It's going to be really nice. So I'm looking forward to that. So let's just say by the end of January, I'll have everything built. I'll have the studio set up. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a lot of damn work. Okay. It's going to be a lot of work, but, I'm going to bring some people over to help me. I got to get some helpers to get it, in a reasonable amount of time. There's some of it I just ain't going to be able to do by myself. So, but I got a homeboy that's going to probably help me. And, just the framing of it is where I'm probably going to need a little bit of help with the big stuff. As far as the walls and stuff like that, that ain't nothing. I can build those and just get somebody to help me set them up. I nail gun them together. I did get me a really awesome nail gun. That's what I built the porch with, the deck and the deck around the pool and stuff like that. So in the tiki bar, and I built all that stuff pretty quick. So it shouldn't take me long to frame up the studio. Sheeting it in, that's where I'm going to need some help. Holding up the plywood and the roof and stuff like that, I'll need some help. But as far as like the framing it, I can do that in probably a few days. So new studio on the way, all kinds of new stuff. So we're going to be covering more content, bringing you more short videos, which we haven't done in a while. Usually it's only been the live streams, but there's going to be more shorts coming, all that stuff. And like I said, tomorrow I'll show y'all some of that exclusive footage from Sebastian Rogers, because there's some things I want to go over in that case. Plus, I want to rally the troops to maybe put together a search party for Sebastian while everybody's going to be there anyway. If all these people are going to gather to protest the police and let them know we want answers for this child. Thank you for my mystery box, PJ. I love it. And the new studio, Dolly. Jamie, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you for everybody that orders the mystery boxes. PJ loves putting those together, right? She puts a lot of love into the mystery boxes and packing and shipping. And Nina Drew, Sebastian's not with us. I agree, Nina. I agree. And that's even more reason to look for him. This kid needs the proper burial, right? Like, just like John John. Thank God they found him and he wasn't submerged in the water completely. Because listen, sometimes kids go missing in the woods like that and they never find them. Never. But as you can see, there were structures around. These woods look like they were pretty much, I ain't saying they were constantly a lot of people through them, but I think, somebody would have eventually found them, and they would have found them. I think when they really got out there searching heavy, they found them. that day, right? I think they could have found him on day one if they hadn't have called off the search and stuff like they did. And if the dad hadn't waited so long to call the authorities. So, I mean, there was a lot of things, the ball was dropped a lot. John may have gone to the lake because he was thirsty. I don't think he went to the lake because he was thirsty. Kids are drawn to water, especially kids with autism, right? Not that he had autism, but a lot of kids with autism, a lot of kids are just drawn to water in general, right? Kids like water. They like playing in the water. You ever seen a kid just jumping in a mud puddle or playing in a damn mud hole? Kids like water. So, and they don't realize when you look at water, you really can't tell how deep it is. So I think they just don't realize how much danger they're in, or they don't understand that this red clay is like quicksand. Okay. Because listen, the kids lived in Florida. There's red clay in Florida too, but you know, Bama and Georgia, notorious for this red clay. My kid would not go near water. Well, you know, I would say the majority of kids though are drawn to water. Definitely. Now, I'm going to take a second, open up the phone line if any of you guys want to tap in on this. Give me 1 second. Let me get it pulled up. And we'll take a few member calls. Since it's only members here with us, this should keep everything a little calm. All right. Phone lines are now open. Let me put up the phone number real fast. Bam. There we go. Call-in numbers on the screen, 757-797-6694. What do you think should happen to Jameson Boley, father? Dolly.
Oh my word, Dolly! This is Doctora Latina.
Hey, how's it going, Dr. Latina?
Fine. I was going to give you my real last name, but I don't even really care.
Just don't do that. Don't dox.
No, I wouldn't. No. That's why I go by Doctora Latina. Okay, so listen, man. I really appreciate that you went down to Alabama. I think, I think it was really tragic the way the whole thing unfolded, and I agree with you that the ball got dropped on multiple fronts, and maybe the child could have been found day one, hour one.
Yeah.
You know, it's very sad. I just wanted to congratulate you on your new studio as it's unfolding. I'm finding it very professional, and I think that I think it's going to get you more views.
Oh, well, yeah, this is just a start. Like, we got a lot of work
I know.
over the next month, but I think at the end of the month, I should have it not completed, but good enough that I could be in it and operating.
Right, but I think already the way it comes across to me, just as little old me, is that it comes across like you still have your, comic sense of humor and your wonderful preaching about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and all that stuff has not changed. But the way you present, I feel like it's more professional.
Thank you. We're trying to make it better and better, and baby steps until we get to the finish line.
Well, let's, God willing, you get above 100,000.
Oh, I know that's happening. It's just a matter of time.
I know. Hello to PJ and hello to everybody in chat. Bye-bye.
All right, you be good, Dr. Tina. Nice talking to you. All right. So yeah, we're working hard on and making the channel better, of course, and more professional, and slowly getting to that point that we need to be. Dolly.
Hey, Dolly, it's Nina Drew. How are you?
Hey, Nina, I'm doing good. How about yourself? Thank you guys for the super chat. You win the lottery, Nina?
No, but my boy is here in town, and I'm so happy.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I've got that Christmas spirit, Happy New Year spirit. I am so thankful that you went to Alabama. You got the truth and you brought it back home. It's very sad about that little boy. I
Yes.
think he should never, 5 days a year. I mean, come on. If you can only see your kid 5 days a year, there's a reason. And yeah, that whole thing is
What
unfortunate.
what do you think they should do to the father, Nina?
No, I think that if there was, Breaking Bad going on the property, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, there
Child
definitely
abuse.
was. He's been charged with it. That's what the criminal charge reads as, that he had the kids around a controlled substance.
Well, then the child, first of all, I have a grandson that's going to be 4 years old. You can't let them out of your sight
Nah,
for 1
kids are
second.
fast too.
They are. They're fast. And no, the father, forget it. He'd throw the key away. I'm sorry. But on that, so yeah, that's how I feel about that. He looks horrible next to you. I wish you'd take him down. He's so creepy.
It makes me look better
but
looking. Okay, I
yes,
don't
it
feel as
does.
ugly
Yeah.
with this guy sitting beside me. I'm like, oh yeah.
Ooh,
With him
ooh,
beside me, I'm a 10. When I'm by myself, I'm a
yes,
hard 5.
he's creepy. But the other thing, the one thing is, I want to tell you about Hendersonville. I'm worried about you because everybody that goes into Hendersonville, they follow, things happen,
Yeah,
and that sheriff there is not doing anything
yeah.
for
Maybe I'll hire me some security while I'm there.
maybe, but would that do any good? They're not doing. Every time people go there, they get run out of town. They get all kinds of stuff happens there. It's just weird.
Yeah, yeah.
Is and that child, he went poof in the night with 2 parents that are ex-Navy. All right, one drove a Brinks, whatever. I'm talking about stepdad,
Mhm.
and the mom are ex-Navy. They know high intelligence, of things. I just don't think we're going to find him. I mean, I wish to God that he would be found, but I don't think he's going to be found like under, some leaves.
Yeah, I mean, if he's
God
not, then somebody did something to him. I mean, there's only 2 options it could be. Either he ran off and he perished somewhere, or these people have done something to him. I mean, there ain't an option C. There's only A or B.
Why
It's either one or the other.
Yeah. Why was Chris's mother over there by Worsham so early in the morning? It's just weird.
And
You
that's rumored. Now, I don't know if there's any fact to
all
that.
right.
I mean, but here's the thing. Katie was also gone that morning, and we don't know exactly where Katie was at either.
No, we don't.
So,
And I have to tell you, when I heard that PI who, had that recording of when she walked on their property, boy, did that my the way Katie spoke, like, my property, you're on my property, this and that. It was just like a rude awakening about, Katie, Miss Shy Katie that doesn't, talk or anything.
yeah,
It was awful.
I think she's a little more running the show than people think. Everybody thinks Chris Proudfoot runs the show. I think Katie runs the show. I honestly do. I think she wears the pants in a relationship.
Yeah. And then what about when, okay, here we got this child missing. It's a very sad situation. He dresses up like Seth and goes and pulls some stunt at another creator's, home. Yeah, I don't know if you know, like, it was like a little joke scenario where he dressed up like Seth, Chris did, and went over there. PJ probably knows. But, why all the joking around? There's a kid that's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
He's doing
Absolutely.
this like voice changers. He's, it's just
I remember when he was doing
weird.
the Daffy Duck stuff and all kind of
Yeah.
weird stuff in the beginning. But yeah, I mean, at this point, if they did commit a crime, it seems
They
like
were
they
good
got
at it.
away with it.
Yeah, they were good at it. And there's people that are still pulling out facts and things about it. And there's a $50,000 reward. This child did not run away.
No.
So, that's all I had to say. But anyway, I won't keep you. Happy New Year.
All right,
Best to
Nina.
everybody.
You be
Stay.
good. All right.
Okay.
Peace.
You too. Take care.
Now, Nina may be right that this kid didn't run away, but I don't want to rule out any options. right? But just in case he did run away, and then there's nobody looking for him, you know, because I don't believe you're going to find anything you ain't looking for. And if somebody did do something to him, then you're right. We probably may not never find him. But if he did, you know, let's give them the benefit of the doubt, which most people won't, because they've been, you know, tried and in the court of public opinion and been found guilty. So most people just, you know, why look for them? They did something with them. But I don't want to think like that because there is that possibility. You know, is I think it's a small possibility, but I don't think we should give up searching. That's a little off topic from what we're talking about tonight. Let me open the phone lines back up. I got time to take maybe one or two more calls, and then I got to get out of here a little bit, grab me something to eat. I may come back and do some late night stuff, but I'm not quite positive. I'm Matter of fact, no, I'm not coming back. I'm going to bed. I got up early this morning. I probably need my sleep. So hopefully, you know, like I said, that after tomorrow, if everything goes good with the autopsy, which there ain't really no way to go good, but that it comes back that this is something natural and the kid got himself into the situation, he's still charged with felony child neglect. And this man should every bit of sit in prison for 10 years, and he shouldn't be allowed around the kids without being supervised. You know, most likely if he goes to prison, the time he gets out, his kid will be big enough to take care of himself. But this man should definitely not be left alone with any little kids. If they don't put him in prison, he definitely, all visitations for the other child should be suspended. It should be supervised. You come somewhere, you see the kid. I mean, you was responsible and you failed at your responsibilities. I mean, I could live with him never, you know, getting visitations at, at this point. That's just how I feel about it. I mean, some people may disagree out there, like, but you can't fail your children. You can't be getting high while they're running around in a rural area that there's a lot of dangers in, you know, a lot of ways to get hurt, a lot of ways to get lost. Y'all seen those woods. They're super thick. I mean, they are thick. I mean, you could look for miles of just woods. Okay. Just miles and miles of woods. You know, it's like I said, that child was like a needle in a haystack. And believe it or not, he really wasn't that far from the location. Dolly,
Hi, Dolly. This is Judy from Kentucky.
you say Judy?
Judy, yes.
Okay, hey,
Um,
how's it going?
it's okay, thank you. I've been watching this since it started, and I'm a firm believer had they not have had to stop and fool around with that explosive stuff, that child would have been found the first day
That's what I was
and still
thinking
been with
too. I
us.
mean, there was a lot of holdups and a lot of like, you know, uncertainties. And I think if some of that could
Yes,
have been avoided, you know, maybe this little man would have been alive. I can't be positive, but I think that would have been we would have had better chances.
yeah. I just think, the neglect of him not watching the child's one thing, but him exposing the children to the rugs and the
Yeah.
explosives is a whole nother ballpark. And that is, in my belief, is what the true cause of his passing is just because the nonsense that was all around him,
How many
which
years
caused the delay.
how many years you think they should put him in prison?
Oh, he should get life.
You think
He
so?
took that child's life. Yes, definitely. He took that child's life. He was only responsible for his children for 5 days a year. How could he not tend to his children for 5 days a year?
Yeah.
I mean, that is
I mean,
totally
listen,
ridiculous.
drugs make people do horrible things. I mean, they do.
Oh,
Drugs
I
make
know. I
horrible,
know.
horrible things. But you got, you chose to do that. There's consequences for your actions. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if even tough as I am on crime, I don't know life, but I definitely think he should have to pay for it severely. Like to learn a 10, 20 years, I could live with, you know. I don't know if, because
Well, I don't
would he
see
have
it
took
any
better
different.
care of his, because, drugs, would he have took better care of his kids if he wasn't on drugs? Maybe, we don't know. He could have been the same guy, even sober, but most people are different when they're under the influence like that. So,
Well, I know I've had that in my family, and so I know that's true. But
mhm.
I wouldn't think it would be any different than somebody with a DWI
Yeah,
hitting and killing
he ran
somebody in a
somebody over or
vehicle.
something. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that should be about the same kind of thing, and I've seen them get life for that.
yeah, I have
But
too. I've seen it.
and if it wasn't for all the other mumbo jumbo, maybe I could see him just getting 20 years or so. But I just think he just put so many different problems in the way of finding that child that for 5 days a year,
Yeah,
and I
I
didn't
would
have my
say
children.
I'm going with at least he should serve at least 10 years in prison. At least
Well, I'll cut it back to 25, but
25.
because I'm
You'll be a little generous. It's just 25 years.
I'll do 25. Well, you know how they do, Kelly. They give you half the time.
Yeah,
You don't spend the whole time.
yeah, 85% on
So
felonies.
yeah, they're not going to give him the whole time.
Yeah.
But I just think that he just needs.
Give him 15 and he does 10. I could live with that.
Yeah, but here's a society that's going to grow up without that beautiful child, and who knows where he could have been in this world.
That's the same thing
And
I
I
told
just
PJ. I said that could have been a little boy to cure cancer.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And he was so beautiful. And and when they were looking for him, I said they should actually say that they could be looking for a little girl too,
He had
because
cool
when I
hair.
first seen them pictures, I thought he was a little girl, and I thought, well, they should have told people to look for a little blonde-haired girl or boy, because he was so beautiful
Yeah, he had a
that,
lot of hair.
yes, yes, yes. And I missed the part where you had told what they had said today about him, of how he passed.
Yeah, he was halfway submerged in the water.
And what are they saying it was? Is it still hypothermia?
They're not saying they're doing the autopsy tomorrow, and as soon as they get the results, they said they would give an update of how they're going to move forward in the case. But yeah, they said he was partially submerged in the water, but they didn't say if he was head first, feet first, or what. They just said partially submerged.
Well, partially submerged is really weird to me.
Yeah,
If he was cold, he would. If he was partially, he could have gone all the way out.
yeah, but the problem
You
is with
know.
that red clay. Like I'm from Georgia, when it gets wet, it's like quicksand. You walk out in it, you'll sink, and then you get stuck.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you'll fall over, and then your feet will be in on the bank, but your head will be in the water, especially if you can't get
Yeah.
back up.
I know it'll suction around your feet just like quicksand,
Yes.
and you pull your feet out of your shoes, and your shoes are still stuck in there.
Yeah, that's usually how
So
you get out is you pull your feet out your shoes and then reach down there and try to wiggle your shoes out.
yeah.
So,
I'd like to know if they have any kind of prints other than the dog prints and his prints around that mud,
yeah,
because
yeah.
they'll definitely tell him a story. And with that dog not leaving him,
Well, the sheriff did say that the FBI, after he was found, continued to investigate the scene. So what did they investigate? And if it's cut and dry, but maybe it's not as cut and dry as we think it is.
yeah, because I would imagine that dog would have laid on top of that child.
Yeah,
With as protective as he was.
yeah, and try to keep them warm. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And
so,
the child just out of instinct would have held on to the dog just for comfort.
yeah. And we don't know if the dog followed him or if he followed the dog. That's the thing. Everybody's really like the dog's a hero, but we don't know the circumstances because none of us were there. Did he chase the dog or did the dog chase him? That
Right.
would say a
Well,
lot. But the dog did stay there with him. So dogs, dogs are pretty, especially labs. Labs are
yeah,
pretty damn smart dogs. It's very rare that you run across a stupid lab.
that's true. I've had labs, and that's
So,
very true. But that child, if he would have been with that lab, and even if he would have followed the dog out, they'll run forever, and then they'll come home eventually.
yeah.
And if the dog was ready to come home and he just couldn't get the little boy crowd around to go with him,
Or the
he
little
just
boy
stayed with
slipped in
him.
that mud, or he got stuck in that mud, and then he's
Yep.
trapped. Something. I'm thinking it's going to be something like that. Like it's hard for an adult to get out that mud when you get stuck. And the kid
Yeah.
probably tried to get out and wore himself out, got tired and fell over, and the next thing you know, he's in the water, and he couldn't fight his way out. I mean,
And
4 years old is a small child. His brother was 6,
yep,
and he was small.
he was small too. Yeah, I seen him
Mhm.
carried on his mom's hip.
Yeah,
But
so
was that an actual little lake or pond there, or was that like one of those man-made lakes
it
that they
looks
have?
it looks like a man-made pond. I'm not sure though. It
Okay.
looked about the size of a good sized retention pond.
Yeah.
But it definitely looks like something man-made on the property.
And that red building that is there when you droned over,
Mhm.
is that another house?
I believe there's a house that sits right in front of it, and then that's
Uh-huh.
the back part of that house. And from my understanding, he was found on the neighbor's property. So as you can see, in front of that is a house. That is like a barn building, and I believe he
Oh,
was
that's a
found
barn.
somewhere
Okay.
back here in the back near the water.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. See,
So
I didn't see that real close-up picture like that.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's the
Okay, I
area of
understand
the
now.
neighbors because he was on the neighbor's property in the water, and that's the only water right around there. You can see from the aerials. And that's where they were
Right.
searching the whole time, and that's where the helicopter was searching. So,
Uh-huh.
um, I couldn't tell you the exact spot, but it's right over there.
Right in there. Yeah. Okay.
So hey,
Well,
I
Dolly, thank
appreciate you
you for
calling.
everything, and I appreciate PJ helping you get through all this.
Yeah, she's
So,
she's my sidekick for sure.
and I'm glad you made
She
it back all right.
she quarterbacks and all. All right, you be good.
All right, Annie. Thank you.
All right,
Bye-bye.
bye bye. Dolly.
Hey, Dolly.
Hey,
This is Kathy from Huntsville, Alabama.
hey, Kathy, how's it going?
Okay, I was following while you was up there, and you know what I was thinking? That maybe when he got in the water, the little boy, the
Mhm.
dog might have grabbed him and was trying to pull him out of the water and
Yeah,
couldn't get him out. A lot of dogs will do that. If you fall in the water and they're around, they'll try to get you out of the water.
yeah. Dogs. I mean, dogs have rescued many of people. Believe it or not, some animals are really smart, and and the thing is, yeah, a lot of dogs like to run, but usually when they're done running, they go back home. And I was just hoping that that dog, would have led him back home. But if he's stuck in the mud,
Yeah.
it ain't much the dog can do. It ain't like I mean, I don't know. I
Yeah,
I just feel like if they would have continued to search the first day really hard, they would have found this kid, especially or
I
found
believe
a
so
dog.
too.
I mean,
Well,
dogs. It may be hard to track a human, but dogs should be able to sniff another dog right on out.
yeah, and that's, if they didn't call them back because of all the explosive and stuff, I do really believe that if they got the dog would have automatically found that other dog because he was just staying there with him. And that's why I'm thinking the little boy that could went toward the water, he started getting in it, and the dog, went after him to pull him out of it, and he couldn't get him all the way out, and that's why he was halfway. So the dog wasn't going to leave him. But if they were able to search that day instead of calling it off, I really do believe that they would have found him
I do too.
before. I really do. And that's, again, everything faults on my father for whatever he was doing. He just wasn't paying attention, and it was that quick.
Yeah. Yeah, it don't take much. You really like I mean, I know kids are going to get out your sight for a minute. You know, it happens, but he should have been paying more attention to those kids, especially in an area like this that's so heavily wooded and with water and stuff around. And this kid's 4 years old. I mean, if you're near a lake or a pond or streams and you got a child, you got to keep your eyes on that child because, you know, easily can they fall into something and, you know, you can drown in a puddle of water. So,
Right. And
yeah.
being that young too.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, on his property, it was how far was the wood line from the house for him to, you know, because the brother had to turn around and come out and tell the father,
Not
and
far.
then come out and
It's
start
not
looking.
the wood line wasn't far from the houses. That you know, but if the father didn't come right out, or you know, he didn't do a half-assed job of trying to search, and then he waits an hour to call the police. Now I don't know what the father did. You know what I'm saying? He look at him. He was probably, you know, messed up out of his mind. How capable
Yeah.
was he of searching, you know? Um, I,
Yeah, he
I just
had to
think
be
the
in there
picture,
doing something.
yeah, I just think the picture speaks volumes, you know. So
Oh yeah.
how hard did he look for his son in that amount of time? You know, that I think there's a lot of things that failed. The court system failed. The father failed. The police should have had a better response, I think. But that the response was the father's fault too, because the police were dealing with things that go boom and they're dealing with his late falling. So that got the child even farther away. So, I mean, there was a lot of things that went wrong in this. And
Yeah.
they should have continued to search all through the night. And they did with helicopters, but with, you know, flare technology, but they didn't have the boots on the ground at night. They should have had everybody in those woods that would get out there in those woods.
Yeah, and you know, when they said the heat sensors didn't pick it up, well, no wonder because he wasn't, you know, he was cold.
He was
But
cold.
why wouldn't he pick up the dog heat sensor?
That I don't
kind of
know.
puzzled
You
me.
would think that this flare technology, but we do know that around pine trees it's hard. It likes them pine trees light up. So anytime you're around a bunch of pine trees, it makes it harder for flare technology to work. And you see all the pine
Okay.
trees in the picture. It's a lot of pine.
Yeah.
So pine trees put off a
Right.
heat signature. And I learned this
I
from
didn't
watching
think about
cops.
that.
There, you know, people trying to outrun the police. And I was watching the helicopter chase this guy, and he ran up in the pine trees, and the helicopter couldn't see him at all because it lit up. The pine trees light up on flare technology, so they couldn't see where he was at in the pines. So if you're in a piney area, it's really hard for to find somebody in the trees like that.
Yeah.
What pine tree?
Well, I know it definitely.
Yes, pine trees light up with flare technology. You don't believe me? Look it up. I learned it from
Yeah.
cops, just watching high speed chases and people running from the police. You know, so
Oh yeah, I used to
flare
watch cops.
technology. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
you
they again, if they were able to search that night, I mean, you know, if they kept on from the time they got the call and didn't have to stop, then maybe they would have been able to pick up the heat a little bit better because he was still alive. But for 2 miles away, maybe they wouldn't, you know, at that time that far out or something. That just amazes me that he went, you know, that's so far out.
yeah.
Even with the
It's close to
dog.
2
I
miles.
mean, you
I
know,
don't think it was quite 2 miles.
yeah, it didn't
may have
look
been
like
2
it
miles
on.
from that church, but it wasn't. It wasn't because I seen where the searchers were at. I mean, I was out there watching them.
Yeah, I was watching the whole time from the time you got off the plane and you were standing right there, and then you went to the church, and I'm like, they just don't seem that far away. And then when you came back, I saw the yellow tape
I
like
didn't know
you
it was a
did.
good mile
I'm
walk.
like, there's something going on.
That church too, because when I walked it the first time, it was a good mile from that church to that driveway. A good mile. And it don't
Okay.
look, it
Was
don't
that
look
his?
that far on a drone because we're looking so high up and everything seems so small. But when you're on the ground, that's a good ways. That's a pretty damn good ways. It just don't look
Well,
like
yeah,
it because we're
country
looking at an
mile.
aerial of it.
Yeah, country mile. So his house is on the same side as the church.
Yes.
Oh, it's like, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Everything was on the they were focused on that side. And there was a pond on the other
Okay.
side too. I went down to that pond when I was originally videoed. So there was a pond on both sides. So there was a couple bodies of water, but my best belief is because they were searching around this, the helicopter was flying around this, that he was somewhere on the back end of this area right here that we're looking at on the screen.
Okay. Well, one other thing,
But
I
that's
was
just my
thinking
best
too.
guess.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you. Him being 4 and being a little bit younger in age, I believe if like his brother, 6 or 7 or 8 year old, might have had enough sense to kind of like try to turn back or something like that. I think he just was, gone. He was so young, he was just didn't know. Versus an older child, by the kind of thought, well, let me try to get back home, or something like that. Maybe, might have had a little bit more, smarter about it. I don't know, but it just seems like he's so young. He just took off and really got lost in them woods area.
All right,
Didn't
well,
get
look,
back.
you have a good one.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right,
Take my
please.
call. God bless you.
All right, so let's check real fast and let's see if this man has a bond. Okay, give me 1 second, and I'll let you know what they say. Let me shrink this. Did I pull up the right screen? All right, here we go. All right, I gotta pull up the picture with his information on it. That's my old phone. Grab my new phone. Give me 1 second, guys. Yes, I'm just calling to find out if y'all have a Jameson Boley in custody. Does he have a bond? Okay, so y'all just hold him for Walker. And Walker County would know if he had a bond already? Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, he's there. And but they're holding him for Walker County. So they don't know right this second he's on hold and they're just holding him there. So but we would have to contact Walker County to find out if he has a bond. Okay. Now I don't have the contact information to Walker County to see if he has a bond, but I know he's not in custody in Walker County. Is Bolin or whatever she said is where we called. So Balf County or how I don't remember what the hell she said. It wasn't Walker County though that we called, but he is at that facility. He's there and he's under a hold. Bond hearing order reflects the following: $100,000 cash bond on the chemical endangerment charges, $300,000 cash bond for required to release $400,000 in cash. Okay, Sage, go ahead. All right. Well, we know he's there. Okay. And they're just holding him there. He hasn't been charged there. He's been charged in Walker County. And apparently, according to Sage, his bond is at $400,000. So he's in big. If your bond's that high, yeah, you're in some big trouble, buddy. And rightfully so. He ain't getting out on that. Nah, because I think his bond was originally like $2,400. So they've upped it a lot. They are very yeah, Alabama don't play. Okay. Alabama does not play. All right, guys, look, I've been here with you 2 hours. You guys have been great tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. And like I said, tomorrow we'll go over some of the aerial stuff of Sebastian Rogers, some of the footage that I got that I haven't shown, and some, of course, some other things. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. And I know the people in the ether can't see this, but this video will be open tomorrow for the public. And until then, you guys be good, be safe. Don't forget to check out the Dolly merch store, buydollysoap.com. Also, be good, stay safe, and remember, if nobody else does, Dolly loves you. Peace.